Hey guys, you're watching The Real Deal with Keith Trent. So, for our March issue, we're going to be talking about three films first that I saw in the theaters recently. First, starting with The Great Wall. The Great Wall is a really good action movie. I gave it a 8 out of 10. I feel like going into it, there was like a lot of controversy about whether it would be like another one of those white savior movies where the white guy goes into a foreign place and then he shows them how to be better and makes them stronger and then kind of is the person that propels them into dealing with the problem that they had. But it was actually nothing like that. I felt like it was a great convergence of two different worlds, where Matt Damon's character stumbles upon this Chinese city, right where the wall is, protecting their mainland, and he had no idea what he was getting himself into. Basically, the movie starts out with him in search for this black powder, this mysterious black powder, which we later come to find out is, well, no, let's not even do that because we don't want to give you guys too many spoilers right now. But basically, everything about it is what you would want. Having not seen the monster all this time, you're wondering, you're coming up with these ideas in your mind what the monster is going to be, and I promise you guys, you will be surprised. Okay, the action sequences, amazing. There were a couple of places where the CG looked a little phony, but for the most part, it was really, really solid, especially with the kind of monster that they were dealing with. The colors, the imagery, the uniforms, everything was gorgeous. It had a great color palette, so it was definitely great to watch visually. So yeah, if you're in for a good action movie with great visuals, The Great Wall is one that you definitely want to see. Moving on to Fist Fight. Fist Fight, to me, I think might be the comedy of the year. I literally had red eyes from the tears from laughing so hard. I mean, from start to finish, just hilarious. I mean, a fantastic ensemble cast. I mean, of course, Ice Cube and Charlie Day, they brought it. They were hilarious watching them pit up against each other. The high-pitched, kind of like neurotic, nervous, weenier teacher that Charlie Day plays versus Ice Cube's very classic Ice Cube, smooth as a cucumber, very tough, very intimidating, very mysterious background. Kind of reminded me of myself when I was a teacher. The kids, you walk in and you're like, hey, and the kids are like, whoa. Everybody else, they're losing their minds. But when Mr. Strickland walks in, it's like, oh, you need to get yourself together. And then placed against the backdrop of it being the last day of school, senior prank day, the kids are going crazy. Every moment you might be, locked in on a scene and then something crazy is happening in the background because the students are losing their mind and you're just laughing the whole entire time. The ensemble cast that they had around them, the little bits and pieces that they have with, who's on Day's side and who's on Strickland's side and, things going on with Day's family. There's just so many comedic bits, happening all around you and multiple times and weaving perfectly into each other. It is a definite must-see movie. It is definitely rated R, so do not take the little ones, but it is full of laughs and a 10 out of 10 perfect comedy in my eyes. Moving on to a more serious movie, I Am Not Your Negro. A fantastic and very needed documentary. You get to see three key figures in the civil rights movement from a completely different vantage point than before. Going into it, I had definitely heard of James Baldwin, and maybe some of excerpts from his speeches or discussions, as you might want to call it. But you just find so much more about the man through this work. It's pieces of his unfinished writing put together, just masterfully narrated by Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, when it comes to narrators, what you want to hear, you think it's either Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman. Those are the top two. And Samuel L. Jackson brought such gravitas to this man's work. And then going along with the actual video footage of his discussions, even with these three figures who are Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. You have three very different approaches to the civil rights movement, and then you have this masterful writer giving you his perspective, having dealt with all three of these people, and then before them and after all of their untimely deaths, and the way it affected him in his life and his writing and his own search to be an African American trying to survive in the civil rights movement. I think it's a fantastic, very poignant piece that needs to be seen by everyone, especially our kids in the school system, African American especially, who unfortunately don't get to really see a lot of our history, especially like the real gritty, hard truths that like we need to deal with in order to move forward. So very powerful movie, another 10 out of 10 must see for sure. And lastly, for my new segment, new on Netflix, one of my favorite flicks of the month, Imperial Dreams, hands down. It is starring an up-and-comer Boyega, who at this point we all now know from Star Wars The Force Awakens. You see him in a totally different light. It's a very gritty look at kind of the prison reform system as it's seen through the eyes of someone getting out, trying to make their way out of the hood or the ghetto, whichever way you want to look at it. And it's just very interesting to see like this portrait that we've seen many times over, where it's a man and his son, and he's trying to do everything he can to protect his son, and he has this loyalty to his family, but his family is tied to the streets, and he loves his family, it's clear and it's obvious, but the way the street brings his people down, and then the way that he responds to that and writes about that and narrates that, because the narrations that we get in the film are actually from his works in the book that he's trying to write. And you see this continuous struggle for this man trying to claw his way out of this environment, but the environment trying to bring him back down. But at the same time, the environment is what roots him in his passions and what he's trying to do, and is the focal point of his writing. So it's a very, very interesting, calculated things going on. It is a definite must-watch, another 10 out of 10. It's one of those movies that you literally, from the opening shot, will not be able to take your eyes off of. It's shot beautifully. The encounters between every character is intentional and intense, and gets the point across from so many different vantage points of these people living in this neighborhood. And I feel like it's something that everyone will be able to connect to, even if they haven't had to come up in that type of upbringing. So that's my 4 movies for the month. If you guys want to see my info reviews, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and pick up your full issue with us at readteenymag.com.